if you can capture it very well.
Yes, NALI.
Even
Kyankwanzi.
even T-shirt I'm wearing is the
NALI.
Kyankwanzi. NALI in full means National Leadership Institute. National, not NRM Leadership Institute. Not NUP Leadership Institute. In fact, Norbert Mao was truly right and just to go to Kyankwanzi. But there were also some UPC MOPs who went there. I don't know why you're only talking about Norbert Mao.
Were there any NUP or probably any FDC?
I am yet to establish that, but there were some independents who were there.
No, why I'm asking is because it's been supposed that actually UPC and DP work closely, even as well the Democratic Front work closely with the NRM.
Those are the allegations. I will not. I'll respond to them later. So I want to tell you that National Leadership Institute is a national institute of political ideology.
Yes.
Where people go and they talk about Uganda, talk about Africa.
Okay.
I am a proud graduate of National Leadership Institute Kyankwanzi. I was taken to Kyankwanzi in 2010 together with the group of regional coordinators for patriotism, by then led by Commissioner, who is now a Major General, Henry Masiko. Yeah. So when I went to Kyankwanzi, I came back when I had a totally changed mindset.
What exactly happened?
There were certain things I was looking at in a wrong way. I understood them were there. There is no university that teaches what is taught in Kyankwanzi.
What is taught?
For example, I studied about scientific tools of analysis, ways of thinking, how to separate appearance from substance, form versus substance. You get me? Tony Chaze, if you find something colorless in a glass, don't rush to conclude that it is water. You may be burnt by acid.
Yeah, true.
So the colorless appearance, that colorless is appearance, but the substance may be an acid.
That's right.
So there are certain things as citizens of Uganda we don't deeply look at. For example, we have seen the likes of Coca-Cola, the Shell, or the Total, the MTN, Airtel. These are companies in Uganda here. These companies are a result of the liberalization idea of by then Professor Stiglitz, who was the economic policy advisor of President Bill Clinton, that he removed the liberalization for us as a country. In fact, I want to credit the likes of Dr. Ezra Suruma. When the idea of selling Uganda Commercial Bank came out, Dr. Ezra Suruma was in the opposite school of thought from the likes of Dr. Mutabire, the late, peace be upon him.
Yes.
For him, he was not for selling Uganda Commercial Bank. So that liberalization idea was a new imperialism, was a new colonialism. It allowed companies from imperial countries to come and establish themselves in developing countries to monopolize, to dominate the economies of these countries. It is an indirect way of the colonialists coming back in another form. In fact, if I had gone to Kyankwanzi before, and if that idea of liberalization came when I was with this kind of alertness, I would have strongly and fiercely and vehemently opposed it. Look at our commercial bank. How many are local? Do you know how that one indirectly affects the economy? Look at the interest rates in our bank. The interest rates here are so predatory that we borrower cannot succeed with the money from the bank.
True.
Yet the idea was that liberalization of the banking sector will reduce the interest rate, so that when banks are competing, the interest rate would be low. Telling me one bank with the interest rate below 10%, one commercial bank with interest rate below 10%. Now it has been vulgarized by money lenders, who sometimes even charge the interest in excess of 1,000%. Jesus of Nazareth and Muhammad of Mecca, peace be upon them. Is that liberalization that then caused the reduction in interest rate? So Kyankwanzi is a National Leadership Institute. All political parties are free to request to take their people to Kyankwanzi for deep political ideology. In fact, NRM made it open. All MPs were allowed to go there. I thank Norbert Mao for going there I thank the MPs of UPC for going there. I thank the independent members of parliament for going there. When you go to Kyankwanzi, you come back when you are very patriotic. You come back when you understand the things with clarity. In any case, ideological clarity is very important for building national consensus on what we can do as the people of Uganda to move forward our country.